Okay, let's dive into this. We're going to talk about a piece of tech, a hypothetical one, mind you, that if it dropped today, would send an absolute earthquake through Wall Street. It would totally flip one of the most stable, most profitable sectors in the tech world on its head: cybersecurity. And that right there, that's the message that would just rip through the market. A declaration, basically, that the entire business model of finding problems is now dead. And what caused all this chaos? A new AI called Claude Code. Just imagine waking up to that headline, a date that would get burned into financial history, the day everyone, all at once, realized the very ground under the multi-billion-dollar cybersecurity industry had just completely given way. The only question anyone could ask was, what on earth just happened? So, first things first, let's just look at the raw damage. We're talking about a kind of panic that could reshape an entire industry in like a single day of trading. Now look at these names. These aren't just some small-time companies. These are the titans, right? The companies everyone called safe havens in tech investing. They had these business models that seemed completely unstoppable. And suddenly, one after another, they just started to tank. And we're not talking about a little dip here. No. You're seeing market drops of over 8, even 9% for giants like Okta and CrowdStrike. In Wall Street terms, that is a brutal vote of no confidence. We're talking billions of dollars in company value just gone, wiped out overnight. Okay, so what could possibly cause a panic like that? To get that, you have to understand the tech that's causing all this turmoil. And the agent behind all this change has a name: Claude Code. Now listen, this is not another chatbot. The magic words here are command line interface and root level access. What that means is this AI doesn't just suggest some code to a human. No, it operates right at the very heart of a system with the highest permissions possible. It literally has the keys to the kingdom. And this difference is absolutely crucial. See, the AIs we had before were just assistants. They'd find a problem, sure, and give you a little text warning, but a human still had to go in and do the actual fixing. Claude Code, on the other hand, is a true agent. With that direct command line access, it doesn't just warn you. It writes the patch, tests it, and implements it all by itself, because it understands the full context of your entire system. And this workflow is what makes it so insanely powerful. It scans for a problem, writes the fix, runs its own tests to make sure it didn't break anything else, and then commits the new secure code directly. A process that used to take a whole team of engineers weeks is now done in a few seconds of cloud computing. It's just staggering. So, this kind of automation creates this massive fundamental shift in how we even think about cybersecurity. It's a move away from just finding problems to, well, instantly solving them. You know, for decades, the entire industry was built around this one metric: mean time to detect, or MTTD. The whole game was, how fast can you find the problem? So companies would pay millions for these super complex dashboards that would just fire off thousands of alerts, which led to this thing called alert fatigue, where the real dangerous threats would just get buried in all the noise. And this analogy just hits the nail on the head. The old models sold you a police officer, someone to just blow a whistle and tell you something's wrong. The new model, it gives you a surgeon, an agent that doesn't just raise an alarm, but goes in and removes the tumor before it has a chance to spread. And that brings us to the new gold standard, MTTR, or mean time to remediate. The big question is no longer how fast did we find it, it's how fast did we fix it. And with an agent like Claude Code, the answer is pretty much instantly. So, the crucial point is this: we are literally moving from a slow, human-driven process of detection that took weeks to an automated AI-driven process of remediation that takes seconds. This isn't just a small step forward, it's a completely different game, a total revolution. Right, which brings us to the million-dollar, or I guess billion-dollar question: if this technology is so obviously powerful, why in the world didn't companies like CrowdStrike or Okta build it themselves? Well, the answer is a classic business trap. Think about it. Their entire business models are built on managing complexity. They make money from analyzing huge amounts of data, selling pricey subscriptions for monitoring, and then upselling you on expensive human services to deal with the flood of alerts their products create. So for them, building a tool that actually fixes the problems at the source would be financial suicide. It would totally eliminate the need for their core products. It would stop the alarms. It would shrink the log files. They would literally be cannibalizing their own revenue. They are completely trapped by their own success. And here's the final nail in the coffin. A single AI agent can do the work of a highly paid, top-tier security analyst, a job that can easily cost a company $200,000 a year. And the AI, it doesn't need sleep, it doesn't take vacations. This creates this massive deflationary pressure, just crushing the cost of security and making those old human-heavy service models totally uncompetitive. So where does that leave everybody? Well, Claude Code hasn't just shaken up the stock market. It has declared an entirely new kind of war, and it's completely reshaping the future of security as we know it. I mean, this quote just says it all, doesn't it? That market crash wasn't just some bad day on Wall Street. It was an extinction notice, a final warning for any company out there still trying to sell dashboards instead of actual permanent solutions. Now, this doesn't mean all the human jobs are gone, but they are changing radically. The role of a security engineer is evolving from being a log hunter just digging through endless files to becoming a strategic AI fleet manager. Humans will be the ones who set the high-level strategy, and the AI agents will be the ones executing the tedious, tactical work on the ground. And the prediction here is crystal clear. We're about to see a huge wave of mergers and acquisitions. Since they're trapped by their old business models, the only choice the legacy giants have is to spend billions to buy up these new, agile AI startups, just to stay alive. They're going to be forced to acquire the very technology that's trying to kill them. And that leaves us with one last big thought. We've seen how AI has become the cyber surgeon, right? Capable of performing these precise, automated fixes. The big question now is, as this new reality settles in, which of the old giants will actually make it off the operating table?